Hey, what's up, guys? Aaron here. So, FTX updates. I'm going to talk about the three bidders for an FTX relaunch. I'm going to talk about the price of FTT, why it is spiking, and also the price of Sol and how that affects the estate and people's recoveries. But the big story I'm going to cover at the end of this video has to do with ByBit, which is an exchange that got preferential VIP treatment when everything was collapsing. They got their money out first, and they got a lot of money out, and that is a big thing on the docket that I'm going to cover. So let's talk about this FTX relaunch. There are three different bidders, including Proof Group, which is a part of Fahrenheit, which is the conglomerate that basically won the bid for Celsius. And the reason that FTT, as you can see here, has absolutely pumped from around $1 to as high as $5 yesterday is because right here, Gary Gensler said that the FTX exchange could be revived under new leadership. So there are three different people and organizations in the running to buy FTX. The former New York Stock Exchange president, Tom Farley, who created the crypto exchange called Bullish, which, to be honest, I had never heard about. We have the fintech startup Figure Technologies and also the venture capital firm Proof Group. So Gary Gensler, who is very against pumping unregistered securities or tokens, seems to have that effect more than anybody in the world, which is very, very ironic. So he comes out with a story saying that FTX can reboot and the price of FTT absolutely skyrockets. Now, there are some people who are very, very well informed on the matter who do not believe that FTT will be a part of a rebooted, rebranded FTX, that there will be no way that FTT will play a part in any reboot of the exchange. Nonetheless, FTT is pumping along with most other altcoins, but doing about a 4x in the course of 1 to 2 days is pretty darn insane. Also, we have Sol pumping as well. So the video I did last week, Solana Sol was about $40, and now it is around $56. But like I talked about in my last video, it's important to remember that there is only about 11 million Sol that is unlocked in FTX's estate. The remainder, about 46.8 million Sol, will be unlocked over the next couple years. You can see the unlock schedule here. So going all the way to 2027 and 2028. So if it were me in charge of the FTX estate, I would be slowly selling my Sol, to be honest. I would be selling my Sol, Solana, on the market in a way that would not really impact the price too much, because then you are progressively locking in profits in US dollars to help make people more whole who have an FTX claim. Because remember that if you have an FTX claim, the valuation of your claim is going to be in US dollars as of the petition time, or when they declared bankruptcy. So if you are an FTX creditor, what you ultimately want is to get as high of a percentage of your claim back as possible. You are not going to get more than 100% of your claim unless there is something like an FTX 2.0 or the court decides that creditors get the value of venture investments like Anthropic. Otherwise, you are not going to get more than 100% of your claim. But that does lead me right into Claims Market, which has been nice enough to sponsor this video. And you can see that they are purchasing claims at the highest prices they ever have. So right now, depending on the size of your claim, it is between 54 to 57%. So if you're asking yourself, why would somebody sell their claim for 50% or so of its value? Well, it's because there's still a lot of unknowns right now. We know that Celsius's bankruptcy took a lot longer than we thought it would, and it's still not over. And they declared bankruptcy about 1.5 years ago. FTX says that they want the plan confirmation to be at the end of Q2 2024. So that's looking like May or June as their best timeline. Now, there is basically no way in heck that this will happen before their timeline. These are always generous, or these are always, I should say, more aggressive than what actually plays out. And there are lots of reasons why somebody would decide to sell their claim. One is they realize that crypto is very, very volatile. So right now, Sol being higher, it does mean the estate is worth more, but we could also see a downturn of the crypto market. If there is not this bull market that a lot of people think is going to happen next year, then the estate could go tremendously down in value. And if there is like a global recession, that could definitely impact the estate. So I'm not here to tell you to sell or to not to sell. I am merely sharing a company claims market that will buy your claim or will offer you a fair price for your claim. If you'd like to reach out to them, I will include the link below where you can call them, email them, or you can submit your information here. So before I get to the story of Mirana Corp or ByBit basically getting preferential treatment, I first want to touch on this CFAR, which is a nonprofit, and this nonprofit received charitable donations from FTX to the tune of about $4.4 million. So the debtors, meaning FTX, want to, quote, recover grants, donations, and gifts that are connected with this nonprofit. So ultimately, this is not a huge deal. It's $4.4 million. A lot of these things will be coming through the docket over the next couple months and years until this plan is finalized. So now let me dive into a very important story, FTX versus Mirana Corp. So Mirana, which I had never heard of until today, is ByBit's investment arm. So Mirana was an active trader on the FTX.com exchange to the tune of several $100 million. So this is pretty damning stuff, guys. In the days leading up to the bankruptcy petition date, as public reports raised questions about the debtor's liquidity and solvency, Mirana and several of its affiliated entities and senior employees raced to withdraw assets from their various corporate and individual accounts on the FTX.com and FTX US exchanges. But here's the deal, and here is the issue. Apparently, Mirana had advantages over the average consumer and used all of their advantages to further a fraudulent scheme to have its withdrawal requests prioritized over those of other customers. So basically, Mirana leveraged its VIP connections to get their money out first before the average customer. So here it gets even more juicy. After the FTX.com exchange halted customer withdrawals, ByBit seized FTX.com group assets held on ByBit's exchange, refusing to release them until Mirana was able to finish withdrawing the entire balance of its FTX.com account. So FTX halts customer withdrawals. FTX had money on ByBit, and ByBit says, we're not going to give you your money back before we get all of our money out of FTX. So during the preference period, Mirana received $838 million. Nearly $500 million was transferred in the final few days before FTX.com disabled withdrawals. And FTX is claiming that $327 million was fraudulently transferred to Mirana. In addition, Mirana and other ByBit affiliated entities during the preference period withdrew approximately $115 million, and $61 million were withdrawn in the final days before they disabled withdrawals. And the money that FTX had on ByBit, well, that's $125 million. And ByBit says that they're not going to give the $125 million back to FTX until FTX transfers approximately $20 million to Mirana, because that's what Mirana still has on FTX.com. So this is a crazy story. Basically, there was preferential treatment to an investing arm, and they got their money out before customers. And FTX still has over $100 million on ByBit, which ByBit says we're not going to give back to FTX until FTX gives us back our money. It's a total mess. So this adversary proceeding seeks the return of assets preferentially and or fraudulently transferred to the preference defendants prior to the petition date, meaning Mirana, which is ByBit's investment arm. And also they're asking for the turnover of estate assets held hostage by ByBit. So this is FTX's money that ByBit is not giving back to FTX. So that is the gist of this argument. This one will probably take a while to play out because it's a lot of money on both sides, which means that they will hire very, very expensive and thorough lawyers. So guys, that is it for the video. Right now, again, we're seeing altcoins pump that don't really have any value. FTT will probably not be in the new rebranded FTX. Nonetheless, FTT did about a 4x in the span of 2 days. It is retracing, but you just never know where it's going to go. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. If you are an FTX creditor, or if you just want to stay afloat on the bankruptcy proceedings. And lastly, I'll include the link to Claims Market below if you want to reach out to them. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.